in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlyn? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television. And that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
You know, everyone pretty much had Caitlin Clark figured out, right? I mean, she's a basketball phenom, completely rewrote the NCAA record books, just this undeniable generational talent. Her whole world, for sure, has been the hardwood court. But what if we've actually been missing something huge? What if basketball was just the start? What if her real potential is about completely shattering what a specialized athlete even is? This is a wild story about one day that changed everything. A performance so out of left field, it left the GOAT of golf, Tiger Woods himself, just frozen in pure disbelief. What you're about to hear, it's gonna make you rethink everything you thought was possible.
Caitlyn, that could be in. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
So, this whole thing kicked off at what was supposed to be a super chill, laid-back event. We're talking about the RSM Classic Pro-Am, right? It's basically the definition of a relaxed golf outing. A few pros, some celebrities, just having fun under the sun. The big stories usually involve like a funny shank or a cool trick shot, and it's mostly about networking and charity, not intense competition. Event organizers were expecting a pretty normal crowd, just your typical golf fans who appreciate the game. No big media circus, no major TV coverage beyond a simple stream. Everything was set for pure relaxation, zero championship pressure. But then a name quietly popped up on the participant list, almost an afterthought, a last-minute addition that seemed totally harmless. Caitlin Clark, and literally in an instant, everything just snapped. That one name turned a calm gathering into this electric buzzing frenzy. You could feel the energy shift across the entire resort. Get this. Tickets that had been sitting there for weeks suddenly disappeared in hours, and the website totally crashed from the insane demand. But here's the thing, people weren't rushing to see golf legends or LPGA stars. Nope, they had one mission: to watch the woman who completely flipped the WNBA on its head, try a totally different sport. By game day morning, the crowds weren't in polo shirts, they were in Caitlin Clark basketball jerseys, a whole sea of Iowa and Indiana colors against the green course. It felt less like a fancy country club and more like a pivotal Indiana Fever game, just this contagious excitement that was completely new for a typically quiet sport. One announcer, definitely sensing a historic moment, even joked, "Welcome to the first true crossover in sports history. Basketball meets birdie."
Oh! Wow. Are we sure it didn't go in? I'm nervous. Is this it? Is this like a, we're good, we're gonna call this a birdie?
I don't think so.
But what no one knew was that the real shock was still coming, just waiting right there beyond that first tee box. The tension on that first tee, man, it was so thick you could almost cut it with a knife. This heavy anticipation just made the whole air feel dense. Then the announcer's voice, usually pretty chill, boomed through the speakers, pumping up the energy, every single syllable echoing across the now totally silent crowd. From the University of Iowa, now representing the Indiana Fever, please welcome Caitlin Clark. And then this profound silence fell over thousands of spectators. Everyone collectively held their breath. It was more dramatic than any roar. Every single eye was locked on this young woman walking up with this unnerving calm about her. Her posture just radiated a focus that seemed to shrink the entire massive course around her. And she had that same easy smile. You know, the one she wears right before she drains a half-court three-pointer. It was a look that says she's got a secret and nobody else knows it.
WNBA, because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct.
But what made it all totally surreal was what she had in her hands. It wasn't a basketball, it was a driver, its sleek metallic head gleaming in the sun. It felt both kinda alien and perfectly natural in her grasp. She just looked down the sprawling fairway, this long green corridor lined with towering pines, took one measured breath, and then, with effortless grace, she swung. The sound that followed was this clean, sharp crack that echoed across the entire course. It was a noise so pure and powerful, it made even seasoned golfers in the crowd just nod their heads in appreciation.
Could I steal you for a second? I don't think I'll have like bigger. I can't say bad stuff on TV, but badasses.
Okay, so that was the sound of perfect contact, right? The golfer's holy grail, and the golf ball? It didn't just fly, it soared like it was guided by some invisible force. It was this little white speck climbing against the blue sky, arcing perfectly, and then landing a staggering 270 yards right down the center of the fairway. The crowd absolutely erupted. It was a mix of cheers and pure disbelief. That silence just broke into a wave of astonishment. And in the middle of it all, Tiger Woods, a man who has seen literally every perfect golf swing imaginable. He just raised his eyebrows, chuckled, and then uttered words that instantly became legend. That's the best first swing I've ever seen from a non-pro. I mean, an endorsement from the king himself? That carries more weight than any trophy, but that was just the first spark. That was a tiny hint of the inferno that was about to explode. What's crazy is that explosion was digital. The internet, like it always does, went absolutely insane. It transformed from just scattered conversations into this unified chorus of pure shock. The world of sports media totally scrambled, tearing up their pre-written scripts about relaxed celebrity outings. They were frantically drafting new copy to capture this seismic story. Even Steph Curry, who's a seriously good golfer himself and understands how incredibly difficult the sport is, tweeted out almost instantly, his message cutting right through all the noise. Caitlin Clark might just be better than me at this point. That single post broke the internet, sending Caitlin Clark golf to the #1 trending spot worldwide, with millions of impressions flooding in within the first hour alone. Meanwhile, ESPN, seizing the moment, boldly called her the most natural crossover athlete since Michael Jordan. That comparison obviously sparked fierce debates, but it also totally underscored the magnitude of this feat. And Golf Digest, the venerable Bible of the sport, ran a headline that said it all. Simple yet profound. Caitlin Clark just changed golf forever. But the most astonishing detail of all, the twist that made this story utterly irresistible, she wasn't even trying. According to flabbergasted reporters who spoke with her team, Clark had just shown up to relax and have fun. She saw the event as a welcome break from the pressure of her basketball season. So her version of relaxing, apparently, is just casually shattering expectations and leaving an entire industry questioning its own logic. It proves that for some people, greatness isn't a mode you turn on and off. It's just a constant state of being. Now, while the golf world was celebrating, this curious and deafening silence started to echo from a very specific core. It was a void of noise that was just as telling as any explosion. Remember all those WNBA names that were constantly in headlines alongside Clark all season? The voices that seemed to have this perpetual commentary on her rise to fame and her impact. The very players who had so much to say about her both on and off the record. Well, suddenly, Chennedy Carter, Angel Reese, and others seemed to have lost their voices. Their normally super active social media feeds fell into this bizarre, synchronized quiet. Not a single tweet, not a congratulatory post, not even a vague, indirect mention. The same individuals who always had something to say about her getting attention, about the narrative surrounding her rookie year, were now mysteriously quiet when she was making history in a completely different arena, achieving something no other basketball player had ever done. Fans were quick to jump on it, their digital sleuthing highlighting the stark contrast between the golf world's embrace and the basketball world's silence. One commentator sarcastically wrote, "Funny how Caitlyn's breaking records and all her rivals turned into ghosts," while another pointed out they had time to throw shade all year, but no time to say congrats when it doesn't involve them. That silence, in its own way, was louder than any crowd roar. It spoke volumes about a rivalry that extended far beyond the basketball court, hinting at insecurities and tensions that a golf course thousands of miles away had somehow managed to expose. Meanwhile, the professional golf circuit offered a starkly different, much warmer reception, rolling out the green carpet in a way that felt genuinely welcoming. Nelly Korda, the #1 ranked player in the world and a superstar in her own right, made a point to seek Clark out after the round, not for a photo op, but for a genuine private conversation. Her simple, powerful words, "You belong here," offered a validation that transcended sports, a real message of inclusion from one elite athlete to another. Another star, Maria Fassi, echoed that sentiment, telling reporters with palpable excitement, "Caitlyn's energy is pure. She brings something we've been missing, a fresh excitement that's contagious." This was a fundamental difference, laid bare for the entire world to see. In basketball, she was often treated like a threat, an outsider whose success somehow diminished others. But in golf, she was embraced as an asset, a rising tide that could lift all boats and introduce their sport to an entirely new generation of fans. This amazing camaraderie actually set the stage for the shot that would etch her name into golf lore forever. A moment of such precision it felt almost scripted. On the daunting par 4 7th hole, which is a monster challenge that consistently trips up even seasoned PGA pros with its narrow fairway and treacherous bunkers, Clark didn't play it safe. She never does. She unleashed another swing, a flawless replication of that powerful, smooth motion. The ball flew with a magnetic pull toward the flag, drawing gasps as it tracked its target with almost supernatural accuracy. It landed, took 2 soft bounces, rolled gently, and stopped mere inches from the cup, a tap-in birdie that just defied all logic. The chaos that erupted was pure magic, a celebration of witnessed excellence. She would finish her round an unbelievable 13 under par, completely obliterating the previous Pro-Am record. I mean, that's a score that would be impressive for a touring professional, let alone a crossover athlete. Just let that sink in for a second. 13 under par from someone whose day job is hitting 3-pointers. That's a feat that totally redefines the meaning of natural talent. What's more, the aftermath of that record-breaking performance wasn't just about headline. It was a seismic event in the world of sports business, a case study in market power that unfolded in real time. The very moment Clark's name was added to the list, ticket demand for the Pro-Am shot up by an unbelievable. That's a number that made event organizers do a total double take, wondering if their systems had glitched. Plus, phones in her agent's office started ringing off the hook, a relentless symphony of offers that turned a quiet week into a chaotic bidding war for her affiliation. Suddenly, a relentless stream of brands wanted a piece of the Caitlin Clark effect, understanding that her appeal transcended demographic lines and sport-specific loyalties. Within just 1 week, she reportedly inked multiple new, monumental sponsorship. A major sportswear giant saw her as the future face of athletic crossover. A premier golf equipment company wanted her name on their newest drivers, and a streaming service even sealed a documentary deal to chronicle this unprecedented chapter of her life. The combined value was reported to soar past $15 million, a life-changing sum accrued in a matter of days. Now here's the brutal, sobering truth for some context. She earned more in that one golf weekend than most WNBA stars accumulate over their entire career. That's a stark financial reality that really highlights the immense commercial power she wields just by showing up. This isn't an opinion, it's a market fact. A cold, hard numbers game that sponsors understand all too well. Sports journalists quickly coined the term the Clark effect, with one headline bluntly stating, "Every league wants Caitlin Clark." And honestly, who could blame them? She isn't just a player, she's an economy. Amidst this whirlwind of adoration and criticism, Caitlin Clark's response was a masterclass in composure, a real lesson in how to navigate unprecedented fame with grace and focus. When a reporter directly asked her about the obvious silence from her WNBA peers, she didn't bristle. She didn't offer some cryptic clapback. She just smiled. This unwavering and self-assured look that conveyed more than any lengthy statement ever could. She simply said, "I'm focused on what makes me happy. That's competing, no matter what sport it is. The outside noise doesn't distract me from why I do this." It was confident, it was cool, and it was perfectly dismissive of the drama, reframing the narrative entirely around her love of the game, rather than any petty interpersonal conflicts. This unshakable focus, it turns out, is absolutely nothing new. It's been a core character trait for her long before the national spotlight ever found her. Her family watched the entire spectacle with these knowing smiles, their reactions captured by cameras, showing a pride that was deep and personal, not surprised at all. Her mother, just brimming with pride, told a reporter, "Every time she picks up something new, she gives her whole heart to it. We've seen that determination since she was a little girl, whether it was basketball, softball, or now this." Her father, with a chuckle that said it all and a look of affectionate familiarity, added, "We stopped being surprised a long time ago. This is just who she is." The world was in total shock, but her family wasn't. They had always known the depth of the talent they were raising, that relentless drive that turned hobbies into headlines and casual outings into cultural moments. And then came the ultimate validation, a nod from a legend who rarely gives them, the kind of endorsement that genuinely can't be bought or manufactured. The very next day, Tiger Woods was asked about Clark's performance in a press conference, and instead of some canned, polite response, he offered a rare, genuine smile with a flicker of real admiration in his eyes. He said it reminded him of his own breakthrough, that intangible feeling of confidence, precision, and no fear. He just stated, "She has," but it went even further than a public compliment, venturing into the realm of legend. Later, grainy long-lens photos emerged on social media, showing Woods and Clark in a deep private conversation away from the press scrum. Their body language suggested this easy, mutual respect. Sources close to the situation then claimed Woods had actually offered her a private training session at his exclusive golf course, an almost unheard-of gesture from the intensely private icon, who's notoriously selective about his inner circle. This wasn't just a compliment, it was an invitation into golf's most exclusive inner circle, a true passing of the torch in a way no one could have ever predicted. The aftershocks were still spreading, fundamentally changing the landscape of what her future could hold. Naturally, the internet just erupted with jokes and speculation. If Caitlin joins the LPGA, Tiger better start checking his records, one tweet quipped. But beneath all the humor was a real phenomenon. Her fans are just different. They cross sports and time zone. "I've never watched women's golf before, but if Caitlin's playing, I'm tuning in," became a common sentiment. The ratings totally proved it. The broadcast of her Pro-Am appearance didn't just do well, it garnered higher viewership than most LPGA finals. Golf networks were pulling in primetime traffic. One executive was even overheard stating, "She's not a guest, she's the main event," and he was absolutely right. So what does it all mean, really? From that very first effortless swing, it became crystal clear that we had only seen a fraction of Caitlin Clark's potential. The mystery of her true athletic genius hasn't just been solved, it's been completely redefined. This isn't just a story about a basketball player who's good at golf. This is a story about a transcendent talent who effortlessly steps into new arenas and just makes them her own. Her impact isn't confined by a shot clock or a par score. She elevates everything she touches, injecting it with this energy and relevance that captivates the entire world. She doesn't just chase moments, the moments literally gravitate toward her. We are witnessing a fundamental challenge to the entire model of modern athletic specialization, this system that tells athletes to hone one skill in a narrow lane. Clark's success boldly suggests that raw, adaptable, competitive genius might be the ultimate currency. It's a talent so pure it can be translated across different codes of sport. She forces us to ask if we've been limiting our stars by putting them in boxes too early. Her journey prompts a bigger question about the very nature of greatness. Is it about perfecting one thing or about possessing a foundational excellence that can be applied to anything? Caitlin Clark is more than just an athlete. She is a cultural force, a phenomenon whose story is forcing us to tear up the old rulebook on what's even possible. She is a living argument for the power of confidence and the law of the unpredictable. So what do you think? Is multi-sport mastery the future, or is she simply a once-in-a-generation anomaly? And if she wanted to, which sport do you believe Caitlin Clark could dominate next? Could her hand-eye coordination and fierce mentality translate to the tennis court, or would her strategic mind and powerful frame make her a force in soccer? The possibilities are as wide open as her potential.